There's really not that many walls. I
I
gotta be honest with you, there's really only 4.
I mean, okay.
Well, the film is R-rated and it's not intended for children.
Ah, but of course children are gonna see it.
Can I finish?
It was so brutal.
Yeah.
And yet it was like a car crash.
Can I finish? Hello? Can I finish?
Well, I go out for the wave, and then I hear like, Candace! And I'm like, fuck.
Can I finish? Please, can I finish? Okay, I finished.
Everyone, welcome to the Can I Finish podcast. I am JR Supa,
I'm Billy Mack.
and let's jump right in.
Dude, I had the weirdest, most ridiculous story that to the point, like, I find it honestly hard to believe. Like,
What?
Because
Like, what
all right,
actually happened to you?
All right.
Because you called me and
Right.
said, I have a story.
Right, I have a story
and
for
then
the
made me wait
podcast.
days.
Right, because I wanted to tell you this story because it's just like, it was just ridiculous. So anyways, I'm an outside salesman, for those who don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I spend, 6-7 hours in my car. So I was over in the Bear Mountain area. So thank you. I feel good about that.
Just be closer to the mic.
I'm glad that we got me the swivel and not you the swivel. Anyway.
Episode 1.
Anyways, so all right, so I'm in the Bear Mountain area, right? I'm driving, and I'm in these like back roads,
And you saw a bear.
and I saw so from right to left, coming from the street or coming from the woods, I should say, is this deer, and it's fucking like it's like a 8-10 point deer,
Like an
right?
actual buck.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it's like. It's an 8-10 pointer, you know? Gotta get like a solid count, but like it was an 8-10 pointer,
Okay.
and the neck was huge. So like,
Yeah, you like that big neck, don't you?
yeah, oh, absolutely, especially for a deer. Oh my gosh. Yeah, oh yeah. So then it like kind of looks at me, but then it perks its head back. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So then I'm sitting there for like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, like waiting for it to pass. I'm like, okay, well, it's not moving. So I cut my wheel all the way to the left, and then as I'm like going over, it takes 2 steps. And I literally I was like, the fuck? So then I cut my wheel back to the right because then I'm thinking like maybe now he's going to start walking.
Right.
And I start trying to go through the other way. And then he like takes 1 step back. And I was like, this fucker is like trying to block the fucking road. So I'm like, no. Like, fuck this deer, right? So I'm pulling up in my car and I'm going like really slow. And like, I'm like gotten to the point where I'm about to tap him, right? And the fucker looks at me, rears back, and just headbutts my car. And I went, that was a mistake. It's the biggest mistake you could have made. You're lucky you're out of deer season. And you're lucky I don't have a fucking bow on me. So now I'm like, you're an idiot. So now I'm pushing my car, right? And so like now I'm driving the car and now I'm pushing him out of the way.
So you have a deer. So let me get this straight. Because I want to make sure I'm
It's fucking
envisioning this
ridiculous. I
properly
told you.
in my mind. Okay, so the deer is in front of your car.
Yep.
You tried to go left, it wouldn't let you go left.
It took 2 steps.
Right,
That's the
exactly.
key. It
Like,
actually physically got in the
physically
way.
moved, right. Then you try to go right, and it backs up again.
Yeah,
To get into that lane.
Right.
Okay.
And it took
so
like a
now,
shuttle step back.
Right. So now you're looking at this deer going, dude, what the fuck do you want from me? And the deer goes, meh, and just headbutts you.
No. So then I start itching because my plan was just to push him with my car.
Right.
And then
Like, give him a little tippity tap,
right.
and he'll be like, oh, shit, that's
Right.
a machine, and I'll get out of the
Right,
way.
especially because it's a fucking deer. You
Right.
know, it's like not some like brave asshole, except for this guy, who's apparently like Bambi's dad. You know what I mean? And fucking like he reared back and fucking headbutts my car. And I was like, dude,
Did he do like damage to
no,
your
he
car?
didn't because I actually like afterwards got out and looked, but I was like, you're an idiot. So then like I start driving and I pushed past him. I had to like my car like literally pushed past
Right.
him, and he like freaked out once he like made contact with it. And then I'm like driving by and he's standing in the middle of the road like looking at me drive by. And I was like, this guy like this deer literally tried to bully me. Like it was like bullying me to stop me from like going down the street. And like I was like so flabbergasted that happened. I was like a deer.
Dude,
you know what I
deer
mean?
are fucking stupid. They're the stupidest fucking animals.
I don't
Dude,
know,
think
bro.
about this. Think about this.
They're pretty fucking smart. I'm a hunter, bro. They fucking pick up on you like
Yeah,
no
but
other.
they have a good sense.
I know,
but
but
they're not smart animals. Like, think about it. That deer looked at a car
yeah, but I didn't recognize
and
what it
went,
was.
it's another deer.
But I've also never seen that before.
But like, it literally saw your car and went, this is another deer. I'm going to get territorial and headbutt it.
well, there's no way he thought it was another deer per
Had
se.
to. He got territorial with it.
I think he was just territorial because it's
He wouldn't
like
have done that
mating
with
season.
a bear.
It's mating season for them.
If your car was a bear, he would not have done that.
You say that, bro, but have you seen those safari hunts or safari rides with like people in like they're like on safari rides and like lions are like chewing up bumpers and shit like
Yeah,
that?
but that's a lion.
Bro, you like
It's not a deer.
Yeah, well,
that's
that's
the
a good
equivalent
point.
of an antelope,
like, yeah.
going up to a lion and being like, fuck you.
Yeah, but those fuckers are always on guard, you know? Like,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like an antelope would just like, your car is the equivalent of an elephant
Right.
to a fucking deer is to an antelope.
No, absolutely.
So like an antelope doesn't go up to an elephant and be like, hey, bro. Oh, you want to go this way? Oh, you want to go this way?
But I've never seen that before because they're usually very skittish animals.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen bucks go after one another.
Right.
I've never seen a buck just was like, nah. You want to go past this street? How much money you got, bro? That's what it felt like because he was like,
Yeah.
because he reared a little bit too, like he kind of pressed up a little bit, and even at that moment I was like, that's fucking weird. So then I was like, well, you know, I'm not like trying to run over the fucking deer, especially in my car,
Right.
like all this shit. So I'm like trying to go around it.
You're driving your Audi.
Yeah,
Like you have a fucking sedan.
A4, yeah.
But you have a sedan.
yeah.
Like,
What am I gonna do? Fucking
right.
bounce over it?
You have a
Like,
fucking pickup truck.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like, fuck you, dude.
yeah, all right. And fucking the Quattro system is all-wheel drive, but fucking I don't know about
Right.
that.
Like even my cousin a while back had I think it was like a Titan.
Sure,
Like a Nissan
The
Titan.
Nissan Titan pickup truck. It's a fake pickup truck, but
It doesn't matter. He hit a deer.
sure,
But the deer just like wrapped around his front tire.
sure.
And like tore the whole front end of his truck off because he
That-
lives in upstate New York, like in the mountains.
Sure,
So
sure.
like deer's just everywhere.
Oh yeah. Well, people don't realize how fucking big they are. Like they're muscular creatures.
Yeah, well that's why venison is so gamey.
But it's so
It's
good,
delicious,
though.
but it's gamey.
So
it's
good.
because they're all muscle.
Yeah.
It's not like a friggin' piece of
you have to prep it a different way, for
right,
sure.
but it's also not veal where it's just been beaten
Yeah.
for its entire living life.
Yeah.
Which I could have just said beaten its entire life and
Yeah,
gotten the same
you know
point
what? I
across.
was just gonna let you have it. You know, having a whole 10 sips.
Don't be nice. Don't take it easy on me.
Only having 3 sips of Natty Ice, you know, that's really what it does for you.
Just because this is our first podcast does not mean you get to take it easy on
I'll
me.
do whatever I want. I'm an American citizen.
Touche.
Well, no, you can't cheers me because then we have to drink at the same time, and that's just bad fucking podcast.
I don't care. It's part video.
It is part
They
video.
can see us.
That's a valid point.
And
That's a
the
valid
people,
point.
I mean, if this ends up on YouTube or iTunes, which I'm sure we'll put it up on iTunes, but when it ends up there, fuck them. It's 1 second of silence.
It's
1 second of
science.
science.
I'm sure
You
there is-
blinded me with science.
Literally, maybe you can't do these sips anymore. I mean, like 4.
Dude, when I record Mystery in Our History with Chris, last episode, I had none of these.
Sure.
Full on did the whole episode, like almost no problems. And there were some pretty fucking tough names that I had to pronounce.
Sure.
Because we were doing Flat Earth.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I get 3 sips into a friggin' Natty Ice and I cannot speak.
Well, they say actually there's a scientific method behind that. That some people have the capability of like having 8 shots and then like blacking out. But if they have the mindset of that they're going to get messed up that night, that they can actually have 2 shots and black out. I read all about it. It's actually very interesting. I don't remember what the name of it is, but there's actually like science behind it. That like basically you're tricking your mind to already be where you're going to be at. So it's like...
So it's kind of like...
almost like a placebo effect?
It's almost like Drunken Recall, but without getting super drunk. Like it's
except
the
that
same,
you're
it's the same
basically-
line of thinking. And my point is like Drunken Recall, you're getting so drunk so that you remember what you did when you were drunk.
Right.
Which is that like famous episode of Beer Fest.
Right. Episode by movie, but sure.
Scene.
Episode would be a television
that
show.
famous scene.
You asked me not to be nice.
Beer Fest. Shit, dude. I waited for you so long. I started to drift off, so I'm just coming out of my nap.
Schmuck, bro. Schmuck. Your life is average.
Anyway, so it's kind of like that, where like your mind has to behave a certain way.
Well, it's even
with
more,
alcohol.
It's even more the sense that like so basically what they were saying was that if you have the understanding, right, that you're like going out, like we're all excited, like it's like me, you, a bunch of people, and there's a way to trick your mind, and it's obviously like there's no purposely way to flip the switch,
Right.
But like if you're in the right atmosphere, that like just like use a number, like take like 5 shots and like you're blacked out, like you don't remember anything, like that's
right, like that's
over.
the end of your day.
Right. It is there are studies that show people that like have 2 shots, even though they can do 5.
Right.
But because of their mindset, like they've blacked out from 2. And like that's what like a lot of people believe like that become alcoholics. Cause that like I don't
like those people that are like, I didn't drink that much. Like I didn't think I had that much.
Right.
But they were like on a bender and don't remember anything.
Right.
And like
right. And then a lot of the times people will be like, well, dude, I saw you like have like 8 shots, but not recognizing that you blacked out at 2.
Right.
You know, because all they saw was you take 7 and 8. You know.
And all you remember is 1 and 2,
2,
and then you're done for the night, and you kept drinking.
Right.
So you got to that point anyway.
Right.
But your mind just fucking shut down.
Right. Like your mind like allowed you to get drunker faster, essentially. I thought it was interesting.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. But yeah, so deers are assholes, bro. Deers are total assholes.
Long story short.
Dude, long story short. You're great right now. Dude, maybe you have Lyme disease that comes from ticks.
Does it affect memory?
Yeah, it affects the way you speak too.
Huh.
Severe, very severe. Very severe, because it depends on where it latches on.
I have a friend who has Lyme disease, and it's all autoimmune with her.
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't affected, like, her speech or anything like that.
Sure. Well, it depends on, like, how long it's on there. It depends on, like, how close to the bloodstream it actually was. Like, if it gets in a vein and, like, you don't, like, pay attention to it and you let that tick, like, fucking just suck on you, like, it affects your brain to a certain point that it can affect speech. But it does affect your brain. And then, have you heard all this stuff about, like, they're saying, like, possums are the way to, like, solve the tick problem?
No.
So, for whatever reason, ticks are attracted to possums.
I mean, ticks are attracted to anything that they can suck on.
Fair enough. And probably because possums are, like, so, like, small.
They're low to the ground, too.
And they're low to the ground. So, but possums eat, like, 80% of ticks that attach onto them. And they eat about, like... Oh man, I wish I should have brought like numbers with me, like note to self for next time, like bring numbers with me.
You have a phone
I could,
right
but I don't feel like it. That's a whole like typing and like this, like
literally
all we do. You could type on your computer.
That's why we do research.
But like
this is your topic.
They have a huge influence on the tick population. So like many people, especially in the Northeast, are saying that we should bring in more possums because possums have zero effect on us as human beings. Right. And they will eat ticks like nonstop. I mean, that's like their favorite source of food. Huh. So they're saying like so I also like kind of a conspiracy theory with it. I've been seeing more and more like
possums
propaganda on like Facebook and like Instagram and shit like that, even though I don't have Instagram. But like videos of like possums are actually cute. Like, look at this thing. It's fuzzy. Like, yes, they have weird teeth, but like, look at how friendly they are.
Life?
That's what I'm saying.
They're fucking friendly.
That's what I'm saying.
I pass them with my car and I can hear them go.
I also was reading that that it's impossible for them to have rabies, which I don't believe for a second.
Shit.
I don't believe that for a second.
Shit.
How can you tell me that there's no way for them to get rabies?
Anything can get rabies.
They're saying because they build an immunity to it from eating so many ticks.
Ticks don't have rabies?
Ticks can have rabies. Absolutely they can.
No,
absolutely
they can't.
Google.
Stop
Google.
it. I'm not Googling in the middle of the podcast.
Oh, my God.
I will not be proven wrong myself by typing.
No, well, like, that's what they're saying. Like, dude, that's like...
Everything gets rabies from bats. That's how it works. Bats come down, they bite things, they get rabies.
That's the only way.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Why do raccoons get it?
Because a bat bit them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why did they become Batman?
Because they already have the mask.
I made that same joke once. I almost got punched in the face for it. I was like...
You're in a safe space.
Dude, this guy was like, dude, like, I want like fake a robbery at my house. And like...
Bring a raccoon.
Yeah, I was like, so you have a raccoon? And he was like, what? I was like, well, if a raccoon robs your house, you can tell the police. I don't know who robbed my house. I had a mask on. I got the same exact reaction. He was like, you're an idiot. I was like, what a right idiot.
Yeah. It's so stupid.
Yeah, but you know what? It's funny though.
It is. I don't know. I haven't heard about possums being the answer to all of our prayers as far as Lyme disease is
I
concerned.
mean, that was very aggressive. I don't know that's what I promised you, but I believed what I proposed was a help to the problem. But sure,
They help the problem of ticks.
they're like
I haven't heard that.
They say it would be like a massive influence, like the tick population.
But then what gets rid of the possum?
Thank you.
It's
so
like-
now you
it's
have
like
an
the-
outrun of possums, right?
It's like the wasn't this done already with like snakes?
What, in the Evergreens in Florida?
Yeah.
Well, that's different. The Evergreens is completely different because it was an asshole who did it for no reason.
No. I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Where like the snakes got out and then they populated the
Well, they have,
area.
like, a
and
real
they're not
problem in
supposed
the
to-
Evergreens.
Right. But that was like it was during a hurricane or something, and like
It broke
yeah,
out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm talking about there was an infestation of some kind, and they brought in an outside animal to get rid of the infestation. But then that outside animal started breeding
Well,
and started infesting the area. It's like it's a vicious
Sure.
cycle because all you're doing is introducing outside sources to tackle the same problem.
Sure. Well, they have that problem like literally all the time. I mean,
You mean the Evergreens? The Everglades?
well, like just in general. What's the? It's either the Nantucket. It's like one of those. It's one of those vacation spots. Where does P Diddy have all his parties? Or excuse me, Diddy. John
Is the
Diddy.
Hamptons?
Hamptons. The Hamptons.
Trivia.
Yeah. But at least I knew the question for it. They have a skunk problem.
Out in the Hamptons?
Yeah, because because there's no natural predator of skunk over there. So someone
What's
had
the
a
national predator of the skunk over here?
I think like coyotes, probably. Yeah.
I feel like the skunk should have no natural predator
Why is that?
because it just like squirts fucking disgusting in your face.
Dude, fucking skunks are vicious, bro.
I know.
A skunk would fuck up your dog. Like they have that. Like that's the problem in either the Hamptons or it's like one of those spots. So don't like
That's
don't
fine.
quote
Don't
me
quote
on
you
it.
on the area. But
Right, but it's one of those like high end vacation spots. There's someone. The theory behind it, which like warms my heart, is that the rumor is the rumor is that someone brought a skunk, right? And he brought it on purpose because this person pissed him off. Now these are all rumors.
Okay.
But he apparently brought a skunk and threw it in this guy's or a family of skunks, I should say, and threw it in this guy's backyard because like he like owed him money or something like that, and like cause like he was like, you know what, how I'm gonna get this
Fuck
guy?
this guy.
This skunk.
Yeah.
These skunks are just gonna go all over the place, and he like dumped like 6 or 7 skunks in this guy's yard. And screwed up his dog and all this stuff, and like that's just hilarious to me. Like
It is pretty funny.
you know what? Like, screw you, man. Here's a bunch of skunks. And then, like, from there, like, they populated.
Yeah.
There's 0 predators for them. So, I mean, they survive off, like, nothing. And it's very easy for them to adapt.
Because I don't think they're carnivores.
I think they
Like, I
can
don't-
be, but in small doses.
But, like, I don't think they
don't
actively
eat, like,
hunt meat.
No. They eat, like, berries and, like, shit like that.
Right.
Like, yeah. No, you're right, actually. They definitely don't eat.
I don't think they're
No, they don't
hunters.
eat meat.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
Well, actually, Billy,
Yeah,
the
right.
skunk is a very carnivorous.
First comment. Hey guys, love the show, but you're completely wrong
Yeah,
on everything.
dude.
Ticks don't do that.
Ticks don't have rabies.
Yeah.
Skunks do hunt.
Yeah.
They're actually pack animals.
I wish these people would like learn something. But dude, you know that's like a massive problem in Florida, like snakes now.
Oh yeah.
It's like basically Jurassic Park. And like they have like, have you
If
seen
Jurassic Park was only snakes.
They're still reptiles. They're fucking like ancient reptiles, bro. Have you seen
How
some
about
of these crocs?
crocodiles?
Well, snakes, crocodiles, they're all the same. No, they're not. They're all reptiles. Frogs. I mean, come on. Really
Frogs are amphibians.
really splitting hairs here. You know that's like one of the biggest misconceptions that frogs are reptiles. You know how people like believe that frogs are reptiles?
Idiots.
I don't know about
About
that.
the
That's
exact
very
same amount of
strong.
people that believe the Earth is flat, probably.
No, more people fucking believe the world's flat. De-evolution, bro. De-evolution. That's the beginning. When ancient Greeks figured it out, and we're still like trying to like have the argument
We're
about
still
it.
having a fucking boner to pick with it.
Can't. You talk about this too much. You can't bring it onto this show.
I know.
Too.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's definitely bleed over.
It's absolutely, but it's just I understand it.
It's because
absolutely
it's visceral.
infuriating.
I've been doing flat Earth research for weeks.
A Flat Earth Society ever get back to you?
No. Ghosted. Completely ghosted.
That'd be so good. Well, you were over dramatic about that, huh?
No, I was just checking. You were going 2 in a row on the peaches.
It was blind gamble. Kind of grab bag special. Stick your hand in there, see what comes out.
See what happens. Yeah, it's like a visceral thing in me now. Like I cannot get away from flat Earth. And like the biggest problem is that on the other podcast, everything we do ends up coming back to flat Earth. Like all the conspiracy theories that we're doing come back to flat Earth, which just makes me that much more upset.
Sure.
Because I have to continuously talk about it. That's why we're doing this episode.
Right.
Like it's actually a series.
Sure.
It's going to be at least 3 parts.
Right. Nice.
Natty.
Keep it classy.
Sponsor.
Hashtag not sponsored.
But I was just getting so sick and tired of like talking it in other conspiracy theories.
Sure.
That I literally was just like, Chris, let's just do this, get it out of the way so that when it comes up in other theories, we can just say, if you want to know more about flat Earth, just check out these episodes.
Right.
Because we're not talking about this
No.
on this one.
No, especially because, like, I talk to you about this all the time. Like, you and Chris are, like, the conspiracy experts. Yeah. I have certain ones that I believe in. And like, certain ones that I don't believe in. But, like, I just find it fascinating that we waste our space on this. Like,
oh, my God, it's so bad.
Like,
it's
there's actual
so
real conspiracy theories that we can actually have, like, interesting conversations about.
Actual society.
Yeah. You're weird when you have to call yourself a society, right? Like,
A
you're not
flat
a
Earth.
group.
Right. Like,
you're not like
you're the fucking
like a movement.
Freemasons. You're not the
You know
fucking
what I mean?
Freemasons, yes.
Like, that makes you even more weird. What else is a society?
It's so stupid. The fucking Skull and Bones. It's a secret society.
Okay, secret society. Name me another one.
Right, but that's my point. It's like, it's so stupid. It's so bad. These guys are just like, and
it's
like
kind of scary, to be honest with you.
Their conspiracy theories,
sure,
are the funniest fucking thing on the
Yeah.
planet. And like, I don't want to take over this episode.
No, I know.
With it.
It's just a rabbit hole.
It is. It's
just
such a deep rabbit hole.
stupidity.
It is. But I will say, common misconception. This is what I learned, and I will give them credit for this. They've denounced the people who say that gravity is caused by the Earth moving at whatever rate, upward, exponentially, blah, 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 blah. That's not an actual Flat Earth Society belief.
Good for them.
But they're still fucking idiots.
Yeah, I was like, good for them. I mean, what do you say to that? No, I digress.
Yeah, let's move on.
I digress.
Fucking Flat Earth.
Please.
So let's go. Next topic is, will video games ever be as
the same category as
comic books when it comes to the silver screen?
Right.
In other words, will they start making video game movies like they've made comic book movies?
Right.
Because there are some video game movies out there,
but they have never done well.
They've
traditionally done poorly in the box office.
But it's also, you said in our pre-meeting that like comic book movies have struggled for a long time.
And people forget that.
And if you put DC in front of a comic book movie, it's still struggling.
Well, see, that's the difference, right? So what I was saying before was that, like,
Which
people
sucks,
forget.
because DC is awesome.
Agree to disagree.
I love DC. And I think
DC has certain characters that I absolutely admire from reading comic books, but I mean, they have probably the two most iconic superheroes of all time. But
Superman,
besides
Batman.
Superman and Batman, probably the most iconic and most world renowned.
I just feel like they're so afraid to just do with Superman and Batman what they can do, because like the comic books are awesome.
Right.
Batman not so much, because Batman is much more of a relatable superhero.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
As far as DC goes,
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
that's
Batman
the problem,
doesn't
right?
have superpowers.
Right.
Like he's just this super rich guy that
Right.
does what he has to do, gets
Right.
all the training, goes
Right.
out. So he's more
But
relatable.
he's also interesting, right? Like his
Right.
standard of justice.
Right,
you know,
but that's the thing is like for me, Superman, like okay, so he's the
Side of the American
epitome,
hope.
right? He's the epitome of America,
Right.
And
Even though he's from Alia.
he's from Alia.
Yeah. You never heard that joke before? Never mind, sorry.
Ugh.
That was a nerd joke.
Yeah. No, but like so, the knock on Superman is that he's so powerful,
Right.
that it's not fun,
Right.
which I get it.
Absolutely.
I completely get it.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, there are so many Superman arcs that are fun. Superman dies like 13 times.
But a lot of it's absolute nonsense, though. One time he gets a kryptonite sword stabbed through his heart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you made the one
Right.
weakness of the guy. Well, there's two main weaknesses.
But I feel like the difference, though, is not
But
to
he
get...
pushed it out of his fucking
I
chest.
understand.
He pushed it out.
I understand. My thing is, without going too far down just a comic book rabbit hole.
Sure. Which is impossible for me.
I know. But, like, okay, so you can hurt Superman with kryptonite.
Right.
Like, why is everybody so against somebody who's invincible? That's my thing.
Because it's not level then.
So what?
But then what's the point?
He's a fucking superhero. It's a fantasy to begin with. Who cares?
Yeah, but you have to have the belief that they could die.
Why?
Because it makes it more readable. To know that the guy's not going to die at the end of it, what's the point of reading it? Like, he's not going to die. I understand they're going to bring the guy back. I mean, no comic book characters, like, ever died for, like, more than like
a couple episodes.
A couple episodes, except for, like, Jason Todd. But besides that, I mean, like, everybody else, like, comes back. I mean,
Right.
Jason Todd comes back, but, like, that took a lot. That took years.
Yeah, but, like, they did... Remember, did you ever read the graphic novel?
Which one?
The one where Superman actually dies, but
course
then
I
like
have.
all the other Supermen show up.
The death of
The
Superman.
death of Superman.
It's one of the most iconic comic books of all time. Yes, I've read it.
But there's the death of Superman, and then there's another. I don't know if it's the same one because I haven't. It's been so long since I read it. But like Superman comes back, but he's in all black.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Is that the same novel?
There,
It's a graphic novel. It's not a comic book.
Yeah.
It's an actual graphic novel. But like Superman dies.
is it the black and silver get up?
Yes.
This is the Imperious Superman.
I don't know.
It's the one that he like kind of like loses his mind a little bit, and he kind of becomes like a monarch.
No, he doesn't go full monarch.
Okay.
But like he comes back and he's got longer hair.
Yeah.
And it's black and silver.
I think that was based off. I could be wrong about this. But I believe that was based off the TV show.
Okay.
The cartoon TV show. Because the cartoon TV show kind of did the same thing where they came back in the black and
Right.
silver. I know of which you speak of, but I don't think I actually read that.
Because I mean, like the
Then
Superman.
again, I haven't read comics in like 10 years.
The point that I know. The point that I was trying to make is like Superman. I feel, in my opinion, gets a bad rap, and like that's why people aren't going to these movies. Also, the movies are done very
Poorly.
shittily. Yeah,
They're just done
they
poorly.
They're done poorly.
It has nothing really to do with the comic book itself.
Right,
It's that
like-
the movies suck.
Right. And like that's what I don't understand is like Marvel went and said we're going to create a universe.
That was right.
Because our universe is what makes us awesome.
Absolutely.
And DC's overall universe is pretty cool.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
when you complete it and like you have the actual Justice League and all the characters that go into that and everything that surrounds that.
Absolutely.
The DC universe is pretty cool.
Right.
But they literally just try to make these standalone movies
Yes.
until they realized, wow, look at Marvel make billions of dollars. Let's make a Justice League movie.
No.
And then they went, hey, Ben Affleck, you can save us, right? And it's still shitty. Granted, Wonder Woman, I liked.
The only standalone movie that was any good ex the Batman movies. Batman movies don't count. We can all agree that
Yes.
all the Batman movies are great.
Not all, but
No,
most.
okay.
Most Batman movies are good. But if you're going to
90%
tell
of
me
them.
that Arnold Schwarzenegger going, you need to chill,
How
is a good
dare
Batman
you?
movie?
How
Shut up.
dare you? What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
It's the worst
It's the
one.
greatest one.
They had nipples on their suits.
No, that's the George Clooney one.
And it was the one with Chris O'Donnell and George Clooney.
Did he have the nipples
Yeah.
on that one? Okay, I'll take
Yeah.
your word for it. I don't remember that well.
But it was so bad.
Absolutely.
But my point is that yes, most of the Batman movies are good, no matter
agree with
what,
that.
because Batman.
The Adam West movie doesn't.
It has, and plus, plus you have like that darkness to Batman, which you don't have with Superman.
Sure.
Right? Like Superman's tragedy, and I think that's why a lot of people don't relate to him like they do to Batman, is like Superman's tragedy all happened when he was a baby.
Right.
Right? So like he has no true memory of trauma. Which is, so there's none of that darkness. He's just like this super nice guy. I mean, granted,
I would agree with that for the most part.
yeah, I mean,
for the most part, I agree with that.
His dad, is it
Kal-El?
no, his actual Earth dad, sorry. Joshua Kent? No.
Yes. Why do you do things to me like this? What is his name? Whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's gonna bother me.
It'll come to us
show.
like midway through this
Yeah.
conversation. But anyway.
We're gonna be like, all right, guys, thank you for watching. John!
Jonathan. It was Jonathan Kent.
Is it John?
I think it's Jonathan Kent. But like, so I think he dies in one or two story arcs, but it's not the same as having your parents
But
killed
that's why
right
they did
before
it in
your
the
eyes.
movies, though.
Right.
That's why they
Right.
did it, because
But
they wanted that darkness.
They
in it.
needed
Absolutely.
something. That's also why Batman vs Superman ends up putting him in the ground, and then he comes back for Justice League.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like it's this. They're trying to get that darkness from him because there isn't really an overall darkness, because the theme of Superman is happiness and the good guy always wins.
Absolutely.
Which is fine.
Because that's why Batman calls him a Boy Scout.
Exactly.
Which is a famous line.
Right, exactly.
He always calls him a Boy
which
Scout.
Which is okay.
Right.
But if you look at the overall DC universe, and if you look at what the CW has done, that's where, like, there's a reason why Smallville, Arrow...
Smallville never did well.
Smallville went
Arrow
for
and
like
Flash is
9
good.
or 10 seasons.
Yeah, but if you look at the actual numbers behind it, I don't believe that show did well.
It had to do well enough to warrant 10 seasons.
I guess so.
You know what I mean?
In fairness, I never watched a single episode.
It didn't get canceled. They wrapped it up, is my point.
Fair enough.
Like, it's a show.
Fair
It went
point.
for a good time, and it got wrapped up.
In fairness, I never watched a single episode.
That's fair.
It just, I don't know.
It doesn't
Something
appeal
about
to
it
you.
bothered me.
Superman doesn't
Yeah.
appeal to you in general, for the most part.
For the most part.
So that's fine.
Because he's just unrelatable. But it goes
Right.
back to your point before,
Right.
though.
So, but you have Arrow and the Flash,
Which I thought were really good shows. I think they've fallen off.
shows.
The last
a little bit,
last
but
season
they're still
wasn't
great
that great.
shows. And what makes them great, and now they have Supergirl. They got Supergirl from, I think it was NBC or
Right.
Whatever network started it. CW was like, oh, we can make this work, because all they
The
had
first
to do.
season was on CW, I thought.
No, I think it started on another network.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm almost positive.
That's another show I just
Almost
didn't
positive.
watch.
I could be wrong,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
almost positive Supergirl started on another network, and they got canceled after like a season, and CW picked it up. But like what they do is they do at least one episode every season
Sure.
between the 4 shows they have.
Yeah.
Right, that goes over each single.
Shows. Oh yeah, DC
Yeah,
Legends.
DC Legends.
Yeah.
Legends of
right.
Tomorrow.
Right.
So, but what it does is it keeps you invested in all of them.
Right.
Even though, like, in the CW universe, like, Superman and Supergirl are in a different dimension.
Right.
But it's still there. Like, they're still able
Right,
to
because I
connect
had read that they had to do it that way, that they wanted to do it that it was 2 different universes, so that way, like, it didn't, because the DC
have
actually
to.
likes the show.
Right. They have to do it that way.
But then if you like
to
the show,
adapt
then
it to
why don't you
TV.
put those guys in the movies? Why did you recast
That's
anyone?
what I can't understand. When Superman came out, not these past few
Not the
Superman
Henry Clark
movies.
ones?
Right, like the most recent ones.
Yeah, the Henry Clark ones.
Where they had to give him a new jaw.
I gotta be
CGI.
honest with you,
He's a
unpopular
good
opinion,
Superman.
the first one, I actually liked the first
The
one.
Man of Steel.
Yeah,
It was good.
Unpopular
I liked it.
opinion. I
Absolutely.
actually liked that movie.
I think the last few movies that Superman has been in have been good, because it was Man of Steel, Return of Superman, Superman, Batman, and then
Yeah, but Superman Batman was not good.
it was not good. But that wasn't his fault. That was because they
I agree
let
with
Ben Affleck take the fucking reins.
But I don't have a problem with Ben Affleck
I
being
do.
Batman.
I have a big problem with Ben Affleck. as
Ben
Batman.
Affleck's actually a huge comic fan. That's why
That's
I don't have a
fine.
problem with it.
But he's not a good actor
really?
at all. I
That is
don't like
interesting.
him in anything he's done.
Good Will Hunting?
Go
You don't
back
like
to
him in
the-
Good Will
no, I
Hunting?
think he's the worst part of Good Will Hunting. Actor
Well,
wise.
okay. Well, in fairness, but hold on. In fairness, I would agree with you on that. But Robin Williams and Matt Damon are so good in that movie by default. He's the worst. You know what I mean?
No, but I mean like he's
Actually, Casey Affleck's worse.
no,
But
he's worse than Casey Affleck.
Well, Casey Affleck has like what 10 lines in that movie?
And that's why he's still worse than Casey Affleck. But that's the point I'm making. Is Ben Affleck is a talented person.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a good actor.
Okay.
I
So
don't-
do you think you have a personal dislike for him?
No, not necessarily.
Not in the sense that you personally dislike it, more in the sense of there's that guy that you just don't like in movies.
Yes.
Like there are certain people
He's
that
one of those guys I don't like in movies.
Okay,
and
so
I
that
will-
was my
absolutely, I will
question.
admit that.
Okay.
My thing is that there's two types of actors in my opinion.
Sure.
There is an actor who can play any role, and there's an actor who can only play one role.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
We're like, and I'm gonna go with Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, right?
Okay.
He pitched, and don't get like.
I'm very curious where you're going with this because I absolutely love Daniel Radcliffe.
I do too.
Absolutely.
No. He's done a lot to get himself out of that pigeonhole of Harry Potter.
Right.
He's gone a lot of different routes.
Sure.
Like I think the first movie he made after Harry Potter was like The Girl in the Window or whatever it was. It was like that horror flick.
No, he's got like a bunch of random movies that aren't
like-
high class movies, like
Right.
Horn and but the one where he plays the dead guy.
Right. So, but my point is that after Harry Potter, he knew if I want to still continue to be a serious actor, I need to do a whole lot of shit that has nothing to do with this genre.
I actually disagreed because he did do a lot of plays after Harry Potter, which is to your point. But the disagreement that I have is that he knew he made so much money from this Harry Potter series that he can do whatever he wants. Like he does a lot of low budget films.
Yeah, but if
because he
he want-
knows that
but-
he can do it. Because he
But
makes
he
so
also
much money from
doesn't
the
want to
Potter
be
movies.
Harry Potter for the rest of his life.
I don't want to get off too far off from where we were going.
But my point is that like take a look at Daniel Radcliffe, and if somebody says Daniel Radcliffe, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Harry Potter,
Correct.
of course.
Okay. If somebody says
He's a wizard.
you're a wizard, Harry. If somebody says Matthew McConaughey,
Sure.
what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Interstellar.
He's been in so many different things.
Only because that was like the last movie I saw him in.
Okay, what's the
Mud
that's the
is
last
another
thing?
great
Right, that's the
one.
last thing you saw him in.
Magic Mike.
Johnny Depp. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay, but that's not the first thing that comes to mind for everybody.
Right.
Right.
Edward Scissorhands.
That's
and
your first thing. That's the thing that you love him in the most.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman.
Batman.
He was in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Right. My point is that there are
Sirius
certain
Black, yeah.
there are certain actors that no matter what role they're playing, you can see them in that role.
Sure.
And there are certain
That's
actors.
a lot of problem with the Disney girls, right? We're going because that's another rabbit hole.
It's a totally different rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But so there are other actors where you see them in a role and you go, okay, I get it.
Sure.
Like they can play that role. And then you see them in another perfect example. Did you ever see The Great Wall with Matt
The
Damon?
Matt Damon movie?
Yes.
No, because it looked like shit.
It was so hard to believe.
So hard to believe of shit.
Yeah, like
Oh yeah.
it was not a great movie. It was
never
okay.
looked like it.
It was a cash grab with good visual
There are
effects.
certain movies that we can agree on that you can watch a trailer of it and be like, this movie is fucking shite. Like
The hardest part about that movie was Matt Damon in ancient China playing that role.
yeah.
Meanwhile,
Which, like,
Tom
none of that
Cruise,
makes sense, you know.
Tom
Why is a
Cruise-
white guy in
right.
ancient China?
he's a soldier trying to find black powder. That's like the premise of the movie.
Sure.
Right. Exactly. But Tom Cruise did The Last Samurai. Great movie.
Good movie.
Great movie.
Good movie.
But Tom Cruise played that part very well.
But
And
I
it
don't think
was-
Tom Cruise was the greatest part of that. I don't know the actor's
I'm
name,
not saying
but
that
the
he was
guy,
the greatest part. I'm
the
saying
samurai
that
guy
his
is
role
the best.
was believable.
Fair enough. Well, he was
You
also
can
like an
see
American
him-
soldier, you know.
Matt Damon wasn't Chinese.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
playing a white dude.
Yeah.
It was just
I
set
just
in
thought
that
was
setting.
still weird, though. I don't know.
So, but again, back to my point.
Sure.
I don't see Ben Affleck. I can't see Ben Affleck as Batman.
Right.
And so it takes me immediately out of those movies.
Well, so then what are you looking for in a Batman then? Because, I mean, they're never going to stay with one Batman.
Right.
Because everyone
But
wants to play Batman.
I think it depends on the actor at the end of the day. Michael Keaton, I thought, was a great Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that Val Kilmer was a great Batman.
Stop
Loved
it.
Val
A
Kilmer as
great
Batman.
Batman? Come on.
The
Come on,
movies might not have been great, but Val Kilmer did a good job.
Stop it. Val Kilmer was a decent Batman.
You're going to tell me
best.
George Clooney was better than Val Kilmer?
I would never tell you that.
Exactly. George Clooney, not a good Batman.
Right. But in
Okay.
fairness to George Clooney, was George Clooney a bad Batman, or was that movie just absolutely atrocious? I mean,
I think both. Because I can't see George Clooney as Batman. And I can't see but like Christian Bale, phenomenal Batman.
yeah, but who the fuck saw
Up
that
until
coming?
the last fucking "Why you wanna kill me?" episodes of
How dare you,
dude? It
Those
was
were
the
best
worst.
parts. Swear to me. It's like, I swear to God, I'm not lying. Swear to me. That's like
I
my
just-
favorite line.
But like it went, and the best part is that like his voice changes throughout. So first it was "Why you want to kill me?"
Yeah.
And it was "We all can be so special."
No. You gotta stick your tongue out when you do it. Yeah, that's what it is.
He had
There's
an
a-
underbite and like yeah.
Why you wanna
in
kill
a
me?
lisp. In a lisp.
Yeah.
He had that lisp. Where it
Yeah.
was like, "I come like a can. What's going on here?"
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
But like,
But who the fuck knew he was
as
gonna
a
be good,
Batman
though?
was really good.
But dude, like one of my favorite things is like everybody fucking hated when Heath Ledger was gonna be the Joker. Nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody was
they got
like, "Why the
criticized.
fuck is Heath Ledger the next Joker?" I was one of the few people who was like, "Give him a shot."
Right.
I've yet to see
That's-
a bad Joker.
That's how I
the guy
am
fucking
with
crushed
most
it.
people. But Ben Affleck is not one of those people.
I mean,
So-
I don't know if I agree. Was Ben Affleck the best Batman?
But again,
Absolutely not.
going back to my original point is they had these Superman the before these Superman movies came out, these last ones that had what's his face in them.
Henry Cavill.
There was another Superman movie that came out before that.
Not the Reed Richards movie, or what's his fucking name?
No, Reed Richards.
Reed Richards is actually Mr. Fantastic. I don't
know.
know why I said that.
You're talking about Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves.
No.
Reed Richards. Christopher Reeves.
There's a movie. You know what? Let me see if I can look.
Yeah.
It up. Just fill the
Absolutely.
void.
So the original conversation was that these people forget how bad comic movies did for so long. And to your point of what I wanted to add on to that was that the problem was that Marvel decided to take the long run, and they were going to take the appropriate amount of time to build their universe. So they built the Iron Man, the Captain America, the Thor. They did all these standalone movies before they brought in the Avengers movie. For whatever reason, DC looked at those movies, saw the massive success that Marvel was, and it was like, oh shit, we should make fucking movies too. But instead of putting in the work and putting in the timeline like Marvel did, DC went straight into Batman vs. Superman, Justice League.
So Superman Returns is the name of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2006.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
With Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Okay. Shitty movie.
Yeah.
Not
it's
good.
pretty fucking bad.
It was not good.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Right. But the point that I'm making is, and the movie itself may still not have been good, but there is no reason why the kid from Smallville couldn't have been in that movie. Smallville was 2001. This was
They want to keep them
2006.
separate universes.
But it doesn't make any sense when you can still, like, he's already Superman. Smallville was huge. Whether or not the numbers are there for it, that's a debate for another podcast.
Sure.
But Smallville was Smallville.
Yeah.
It was good. If you took him and put him on the big screen,
Sure.
he's still playing the same character.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And, like, that's why the Justice League, same thing. The kid who's playing the Flash on the CW is phenomenal. Why would you not put him as the Flash?
That one I just don't get. That one I don't get. DC said that they
Same
want to
thing
keep
with
them
Arrow,
as separate universes.
Which is fine. I get what they're saying, but I don't agree with it.
I understand that you're saying that's fine. I disagree that it's fine. Because I just don't understand it at all. Like, this guy has done everything that you're asking him to do.
Right. He's
making
amazing
a
at
good
what. Yeah.
show. Like, why
But
wouldn't you
same
want
thing,
that
like,
same guy?
if you're going to bring Arrow into it, there's no better person playing Arrow right now than Arrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know the actor's name, but I know what you're saying.
And like the only two people I'll give you right now is Aquaman as Jason Momoa. I don't hate it.
Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
Aquaman is Jason Momoa. I don't hate that.
Yeah.
However, Chris Hemsworth probably would have been better.
Well, how you can't do that.
The only reason why I say it is because if you
You
go
have to
back
get
to
like
the
Liam
comics,
Hemsworth.
Thor.
Yeah, you can't get Chris Hemsworth. There's no
Chris
way.
Hemsworth is Thor.
Right.
Right.
So how could you get him to play Aquaman? There's no way that
Marvel
could
and
happen.
DC, it's two totally different universes.
They would never do that.
The point that I'm making is if you look in the comics, that's who Aquaman looks like. Aquaman isn't a dark-haired dude in the comics.
Correct.
He's a blonde.
Arthur is never blonde. Or excuse me, never brown hair. Arthur's
Right.
always blonde.
He's always blonde.
But Jason Momoa has the look of Aquaman.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying that he was a bad Aquaman. It works. He works. I'm saying that if you put Chris Hemsworth in as Aquaman, it's a better fit. But it still works. And what's her face as Wonder Woman?
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Gal
Thank you.
Gadot.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. It's
Absolutely
the only
phenomenal.
thing that was good.
Phenomenal.
The only thing that is good about that DC
So-
universe is Gal Gadot.
Right. So, on so many levels.
On so many different levels. On multiple different levels.
So, but again, back to the topic that sparked this whole conversation.
Right.
Which is
Well, that's part of the conversation, though.
But
You
that's
know,
my-
this is the
but-
part of the
but this
build
is-
of
right. This is the build
comic
up
movies.
to it, is because we're relating the video games to the DC universe at this point because video game movies are getting made,
Right.
But they're not getting.
They've never done well.
They're not doing well, and they're not getting made well.
I could be wrong, but I believe the best video game movie box office wise was Scott Pilgrim. And Scott Pilgrim did very bad, but now has become a cult classic.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yes.
Wasn't that a book first though?
It could be, but it's a video game. I used to play it. It's like an old
No, I believe it.
video game. It's an old
So
one.
they've made.
They've made a lot, dude.
Wasn't Ghost in the Shell was a video game too?
Ghost in the Shell was a video game.
But was it a comic
actually,
book first?
No. I'm sorry. No. Ghost in the Shell is anime first.
Anime first.
Absolutely was.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm thinking, but
There have been
was
video game
there
movies.
was a video game.
Well, wait, the Assassin's Creed movie.
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's
Creed. That okay? So
Fucking
that
shite.
movie.
Shite. Say it.
Hold on.
If you're
It
gonna
was not
say
good.
that Michael
No.
Fassbender.
Easy. It was not
Okay.
good.
So that's what I wanted.
It was
Thank
not.
you. I feel better.
I would not classify it as good, but I also wouldn't classify it as bad. And
So I
here's
love
why.
Michael
Here's why.
Fassbender. Can I finish?
Michael, yes. Can I finish? Can I finish? Michael Fassbender is a great actor.
I do. I love him.
Absolutely.
I do.
Now, if you look at it from the perspective of this was not in any way, shape, or form a continuation of the Assassin's Creed video games. It was just taking the concept and doing a different story arc.
Which I don't have a problem with.
Right.
I don't have a problem with.
That's why I don't say it's a bad movie.
Right.
Because taking that concept and running with it
And
it
putting
was
your own
just,
spin on it.
Right. It was
Cool with
just decent.
Right.
It was not a good movie. It was decent. I liked what they did with the Animus. Although I would have rather have seen him just get plugged in like the Matrix, but that's why they didn't do it.
Right.
Is because now you're just making the Matrix.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's essentially the Matrix if all you're doing is lying down in a bed and going to a different world. So that's why they
Yeah, but
kind
you're
of did
going
the
into
twist
your
on
own
it.
past.
But I get it. But I'm
Right.
just saying, like,
Yeah, I
you're,
get you,
you're
though.
just lying there now.
I get you.
Whereas
I can see what you're saying.
visually for the movie, it's cooler if he's strapped in and experiencing them
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah.
So that's completely
Wait,
cool.
isn't that kind of what he's doing in the video games, though?
No, in the video game, you're in
'Cause
the
he's in that
Animus.
machine, though.
You're
Yeah.
in the machine,
Yeah,
but you're
yeah.
just stationary.
Right.
You're going back and living them in your memories.
Right.
You're living their memories through your memories.
Right. Right.
Whereas in the movie, it was not like that. It was actually you're experiencing these memories with this machine that's like actually allowing you to physically participate.
Sure.
So my thing is, because they did it that way, I don't have a problem with the cast. I don't have a problem with the overall.
I have a problem with Michael Fassbender. He's a fucking great actor.
But that's I don't have a problem.
I'm saying, how
Right.
could you? You know, like Mike Fassbender, great actor.
So I don't have a problem with the cast. I don't have a problem with the story. The overall movie was okay.
Yeah.
I feel like they essentially made it a one and done, which was silly.
I don't think they wanted to do it though. I don't
Right.
think they wanted to do the one and done. I think it's now their cards are played. And
Right. It's now it
has
has to be a one and done because you got the apple.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I would have rather them done
Which is kinda funny
Assassin's
if you think
Creed
about it,
1, 2,
though.
and 3.
Because the fucking video games you still haven't even gotten the apple, have you? I stopped playing after Black Flag.
I think you get them. You get one of the apples early on with like
I
either
don't even remember.
you either get
So
one with
long.
Altair or Ezio.
You definitely do not get it with Ezio.
Then you might get one with Altair, but there's a bunch of apples. It's not just one apple. There's a bunch of apples.
It's just stupid.
But the thing is,
The Hitman movie too. That was the other
Yes,
one.
yep,
Sorry,
yep,
but
yep,
that's
yep.
what came to me. The Hitman movie sucked as well.
there have been a couple of them. The most recent one wasn't
most recent one.
super terrible.
But it's just not. It was still not
right,
a
it's not
good
the same.
movie.
Because I think they're trying too hard, and this is what the point that I was trying to make is they're trying too hard to adapt them to the screen.
Sure.
The reason why people play these video games, like the first Assassin's Creed, gameplay sucked.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were gonna say it was good. Yeah. Remember
No,
running
the
into the puddles?
gameplay sucked. You step into a puddle,
And
you
you
die.
died. It was
half
so
the game.
infuriating.
Half the game
Yeah.
is literally just sitting there and eavesdropping.
But the second one's probably one of the best games I ever played. The
So-
Ezio one is fantastic.
So, but the thing is that if you stuck with the story arc,
right.
because that's why people kept playing.
Sure.
Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 3, Black Flag, Origins sucked, but Odyssey was great. You know, plus you have the Syndicate and Brotherhood and like all these different ones. The ones
Money grab, money grab, money grab.
money grab, money grab, money grab. Yes, but 1, 2, and 3 were really good. Story arc
I get you. I agree.
with Devin, I think his name was. Why wouldn't you just follow that story arc? You've got 3 movies to make out of it, because you can essentially bridge the gap.
Right.
2, like movie 1, Altair. Movie 2, Altair, Escape. Or movie 2, Escape. You know what I mean? And with a little bit of each. And then movie 3, Ezio. Like, because he has these 2 ancestors. They're both his ancestors. So why wouldn't you go down that road? It's going to guarantee you 3 movies. And you're telling everybody, hey, remember that story arc you love so much? We made it into a movie now. Everyone's going to go see all 3.
Okay. So, my 10 cents on all of this, and the reason why I believe that video game movies will never work, they'll never work, is because when you play a video game, think about it. What's the last video game you played that there has any type of story? It probably
Besides
took
Assassin's Creed?
just anything in general. It
Which
probably
is a good story arc.
just anything in general, just any video game that you played. It probably took, not even a good video game, it probably took you 3-4 days to finish it. You probably spent 2-3 hours playing it minimum
Per day.
per day, minimum. And it probably took you 3 or 4 days to finish it.
It's usually like 8 to 10 hours gameplay.
So if you're telling me that 8 to 10 hours gameplay, you had to build this entire story in 10 hours, right? Let's take the long. Let's not take the short. Let's take the long. Say it's 10 hours, right? How are you going to compact 10 hours of character building, story-driven things?
I'll tell you how.
And build it into an hour and a half.
I'll tell you
You
how.
have to make it a TV show. It's the only
You
way
don't.
it'll be interesting.
You don't. Because of those 10 hours of gameplay, how much of it is spent fixing your character, doing side missions, doing
I'm
shit
not even
that doesn't
including
need
that.
to be
if
done?
you include that, then
It's
you
still-
know it's
no,
more than 10.
It's 10
you
hours.
know
gameplay.
it's more than 10.
But like, look at Borderlands, dude. If you just
example.
burn through
Fantastic
Borderlands
example.
without doing the side missions or any of that
But
stuff,
side missions is part of the.
It's
half
part of the
story.
fun. It's part of the fun, not the
incorrect.
story.
No, incorrect. You learn about the story from the side missions. You're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong. You clearly have not played the game correctly. Next time that we play the game, I will point out side missions.
Side
that
missions.
100% tell you about the story.
side
You're
missions,
absolutely
but then
wrong.
they're not actual side missions.
But they are side missions.
I'm not talking about just main quests. I'm talking,
talking
about
about side missions.
Claptrap coming to me and telling me I have to do this stupid fucking micro transaction mission.
Correct.
That's not anything to do with the
Correct.
game.
Absolutely.
So take those away.
Correct. But then you learn certain little things from other little side stories. Like, for instance, a great example, Borderlands 2. When you go and the side mission is that you have to catch that guy, the one of the psychos for Tiny Tina. And you have to play with the electric fence. You have to sit there. You have to defend it. And then you have to get the guy, and he comes into the electric fence. That's a side mission. But you learn that that's the guy who killed Tiny Tina's parents. And who gave them up to the guy, to all that stuff.
That's fine.
You learn so much from the side missions.
But guess what? That side mission took you maybe 15 minutes to a half hour to do.
But if you add up all those 15
if you do
minutes,
it in a
then
movie,
all of a sudden it's different, isn't it?
No, because if you do that in a movie, it's literally 1 or 2 sentences of dialogue.
Right.
That's it. It's 30 seconds in a movie. Your 30 minutes is now 30 seconds on the big screen.
But now you're rushing it.
It's not.
So if you take up all
because
those
if you
15
just
minutes.
say that's that guy, that's the guy who killed my parents. Now you're done.
But
you
it's
don't
not
have to
the
do a
same. It
whole
was not the
side
same
mission.
reveal. It's not the same reveal. You're now shortening the major reveal for it because when you're doing the mission,
but that's the difference between a video game and a movie. I'm talking about you can get all that stuff into a movie
People don't even know
and
what we're
still
talking
have
about.
it doesn't matter. You can get all that stuff into a movie and still have the same effect and still get the story arc and still have a good movie. It's no movie made based on a video game is going to be as good as you going into the video game
and interacting with it.
Right. But like if they did a Halo franchise outside of that stupid fucking animated shit,
The Netflix one?
yeah, that was horseshit.
It was horseshit.
Do the actual movie. Do the history of Master Chief.
But how much can you possibly do in a movie?
Dude,
at most you can
Star
do
Wars
90
has
minutes.
9 of them.
I'm confused of your point there.
My point is that these movies, you don't just have to do one fucking movie.
If no one watches the fucking movie, then yes.
So then
you have
don't
to
make
do
any
one
more.
movie.
You start the story. You see how it goes.
That's not how Hollywood works. You like that's a great idea.
But that's the problem. That's what I'm saying.
I agree
That's
with you.
why the video games aren't doing well. Because Hollywood is saying, let's take the idea, let's make it an hour and a half, make a bunch of money, and be done. Because these people like this game, so they'll like this movie.
Correct.
What I'm saying is, take the actual story arc of the movie and make it into what the video games have accomplished. Assassin's Creed should have been 3 movies based on the same story
That's
arc.
why I believe
Halo
it
should
has
have
to be
been
a television
4
show.
or 5 movies.
Because a television show allows you to build up these universes and build these arcs better than a movie can. Because a movie's only going to give you 90 minutes. A television show is going to give you 10 hours.
Dude, 90 minutes is an unfathomably incorrect amount of time, by the way.
For
a movie.
Not for your standard movies, for your high Hollywood.
The last 5 Marvel movies have been like 4 hours.
But what I just say, your standard movie is not over 90
Call
minutes.
Quentin Tarantino. They're all 3.5 hours.
Okay,
They have nothing to do.
Quentin
That's a standard Hollywood
Tarantino
movie.
has a different level of directing in Hollywood, and you know it. They allow Quentin.
But that's a regular Hollywood movie.
But Quentin Tarantino has a much more longer of a leash than other people do. If you're making this movie, J.R.
Dude,
Super,
Michael Bay makes 3-hour movies.
Michael Bay has a different level. What
Michael
are you
Bay
talking about?
is on the lowest level.
Michael
His
Bay
entire.
sucks.
That's
I
my
don't
point.
watch Michael Bay
That's
movies,
my
but
point.
the guy makes
Can I finish?
fucking shit
Can I
money.
finish? Can I finish?
You're wrong, though.
Michael Bay literally just throws explosions at people.
Correct.
But he still gets to go for 3 hours.
Because look at every movie he's ever done. Everything is fucking sponsored, the entire movie. I can tell you every sponsor that has given him every dollar, because when you're watching the movie, he's drinking a Coca-Cola can and he drinks it like this. Where there's a camera, he drinks it like this. Coca-Cola tastes great. That's every Michael Bay movie. I'm telling you.
I'm not
all he does is
arguing with you
American
there.
flags, explosions, and sponsorship. The American dream.
That's not what I'm arguing with you about. What I'm arguing with you about is that there are barely any hour and a half movies anymore.
I would argue that most movies that are made are hour and a half movies. If you keep going for the top line directors and top line movies, those movies, I agree with you. Jerry, you're 100% right. If you go to the Quentin Tarantino movies, you're right. They're not hour and a half. They're much longer than that. The comic book movies, they're much longer than that. But those fucking people have green lights to do whatever the fuck they want. Marvel can literally do whatever they want. Disney represents them. Disney
Incorrect.
owns half your world.
You're incorrect.
Go ahead.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Oh,
it's
you
the
chose
first
another
one.
wrong movie.
Nope. First movie
WB
based on the
had
book.
sponsored it already.
Doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter. Every movie has unless it's an independent film, every movie has a sponsorship.
No.
Every movie
That's
is
not
backed
true.
by either 20th Century Fox, Warner Brothers. They're all being paid for
What
by somebody unless they're an
is
independent
the
movie. So
average movie.
Harry Potter,
time?
unproven, because it's the first movie that they made. It's the first one, so nobody knows how it's going to end up being. It's 2 hours and 32 minutes. It's a full 60 minutes past. So how are you going to tell me that an hour and a half is the normal runtime?
What's
I don't know.
So looking at the average movie length of the 10 highest grossing movies of each year for the past decade, Hollywood's blockbusters have gone from just under 2 hours to more than 130 minutes in length. Going back to another decade, movies today are 1.2 times longer than they were in 1992 for only the top grossing movies in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So my point that I'm trying to convey to you, that for whatever reason you're not getting.
So hold on.
You're picking the top end movies. So in that aspect, you're right then. So in that aspect, you
I'm just
actually
saying
win.
movies in general. If it's an independent film, that's different because they only have a certain budget.
Maybe like 90 minutes maybe isn't long enough. It probably isn't anymore. I'm probably dating myself by saying 90 minutes because every movie used to be 90 minutes. It's probably more like,
They're all about 2 hours.
I would say under though. If you're putting the line at 2 hours, I'm telling you I take the under.
That's fair. You're under by 3 minutes. Okay, no, but this is my point. It's not 90 minutes.
Hold up.
Gemini Man.
Okay.
It's got Will Smith.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a big blockbuster. I think their fucking budget was $135 million.
Sure.
Okay, you know how much they made opening week?
Yeah.
$20 million.
It's pretty good.
No, $135 million budget.
That was sarcasm.
Okay, just checking. It's starring Will Smith twice.
Yeah. Literally.
You
He's
get
the young
you
character
get
and the old
two
character.
Will Smiths.
Yeah.
1 hour and
Fresh
57
Prince-
minutes.
you get Fresh Prince of
You get Fresh Prince and I Am Legend.
Let me tell you, I always wanted to make a movie called I Am Smith.
I Am
and
Smith.
I want to cast Will Smith in 10 to 20 different character roles and just have him play all the characters that he's
characters.
ever played. So I went backwards.
Getting
I went
super off
fucking-
topic.
No, it's not off topic. It's 100% off topic.
It's completely off topic. My point is that this movie is not the best movie in the box office.
Right.
This movie sucks dicks for quarters.
I actually heard it
according to
was
the people
good.
who saw
I
it.
have not seen it.
I'm just saying,
I haven't
according to its box office, it got beat out by second week Joker.
Yeah, but fucking Joker.
We're not going to talk about Joker.
Okay.
All I'm saying is almost 2 hours. By 3 minutes, it missed 2 hours.
All right.
So an hour and a half is not the right runtime.
Right.
That's the end of the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Can you give me a yes or no though?
Sure.
Is Joaquin Phoenix Joker better than Heath Ledger?
Didn't see Joker.
Didn't
see it
Fair
yet.
enough. Okay,
Didn't
we
see
won't
it
talk
yet.
about it.
Yeah.
My answer is yes.
But yeah, so that's
Fair enough.
until the video games start to.
I just don't think it's possible. I think there's just too much information in video games.
You're right to a certain extent. I think unless it's a video game where you can build a universe around it, something like a Halo, where you can spend one movie building the universe.
But you needed like 2 games to even understand Halo. You know,
That's my point, is like you spend the first movie introducing the whole concept of the universe and introducing Master Chief, and then you can get into it.
But the
if they
problem
would
in
do it that way,
that's a very
they're
logical
not-
point of
right,
view.
They're not going to do it that way.
Right.
And until they do it that way, this is
Right.
the point that I'm making, is until they decide to do it that way, video games will not be as successful as the Marvel Universe.
I agree.
DC has just started to do that. They finally starting to build the DC universe around the Justice League.
Do you think it's
and
a
they're
little too
finally,
late?
I think they're never going to be Marvel, but I think that they can finally start to be good.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Like, and again,
Well, what's your opinion on DC though? Like just like
In
the
what
movies, like in the movie sense, because like first of all,
the Batman movies for the most part are
Batman,
terrific.
Batman,
So Batman
like,
aside,
Batman's the oddity.
Wonder
right?
Woman,
Right.
fantastic.
It was absolutely fantastic. Anybody who tells you it wasn't is lying.
Correct. Aquaman, decent.
Come on,
Decent.
decent's very strong. Come on,
Decent
And I
because-
love Jason
because-
Momoa. I
but
love Jason Momoa.
Aquaman was decent because they only did it to introduce Aquaman for Justice League. The end game for them was
Aquaman
Justice
came out
League.
after Justice League.
You sure?
Yes, positive.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So it's just a cash grab for after Justice League.
Well, no, that was now trying to build the
Right.
Aquaman
They're
character.
Right. They're trying to continue. They did it backwards. They
Right.
should have done it the other way.
See, that is the DC problem. DC saw that Marvel was making just boatloads
Avengers
of cash.
was making way
But
good
even
money.
even Iron Man 1 did very well. Iron Man 1 did very well. Captain America did very well. Thor, even though Thor is not a great movie, did pretty well in the box office. So DC
helps when
said,
you have a
wait a
Hemsworth."
second, we have like very notable superhero characters. Why don't we just throw our movies out there?
Right.
But forgot the key fact that, Marvel spent the time.
Right.
Marvel did the
spent
legwork.
decades.
Right.
They spent decades not only researching, like they spent decades failing.
I would love to know. Well, yeah, people forget that too. I would love to know the time difference between Iron Man and the first Avengers because I just don't remember off the top of my head,
the timing.
or just the time difference.
Oh, like how
of
many-
like
how
when,
long-
when did
how far
Iron Man
apart was?
first? So look up when Iron Man first came out, and I will look up the Avengers, the first one.
2008 for Iron Man,
Oh, you're like very fast at this.
and Avengers was 2011.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. No, that's not right.
Really? It's only 3 years?
It was. It's incorrect. Captain America, the first Avenger, was 2011.
Right. No, not that one.
The Avengers: Age of Ultron, was that the
no,
first Avengers?
no, it's not the first one.
Nope.
It's
The
second one.
Avengers, 2012.
So it took
So
them
4 hours. 4 years.
4
4
years.
hours.
4 hours.
Feels like we've been talking for 4 hours.
Right?
It took 4 years for them to do essentially what DC did in a year and a half.
And DC was just like, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go for it. And then they were like, well, we'll lead with Batman.
Yeah.
But wait, hold on. I always like to pretend like there's a long table like in a office, and they were like, that's right. We'll be fine. We'll just start with Batman. And they were like, but Christian Bale isn't Batman anymore. And they were like, oh, well, we'll just throw another Batman in there.
Yeah, we'll just make a different Batman universe.
So they were like, okay, so let's get Christopher Nolan to like do all of it because like
Right.
he made all these great
were so
Batman
great.
movies.
No, we're gonna give Ben Affleck total control. We're gonna let him.
That's not true. He didn't have total
He was writer, director, and star of Batman.
what are you talking about?
I'm pretty sure he did all of it.
He didn't do a single solo Batman movie. What are you talking about? No, Josh Whedon was the director of the Batman vs Superman. Either Josh Whedon or someone else that was famous.
Ben Affleck might have wrote it then.
No, it was the guy who did 300. Because that was I was actually excited about that because the guy who did 300 had that like comic book look to 300 a little bit, like like I don't know, like the directing of 300 kind of had like that kind of feel to it because I thought he was gonna be great. I honestly thought like Batman vs Superman was gonna be a good movie.
You're right. He didn't write it.
I know he didn't. I'm always right.
Let's not get carried away.
No, let's not get carried away. Like 90% of the time I'm wrong.
No, but that's okay. But still, they were like Ben Affleck, just fucking jump in there, and it didn't work.
It didn't work.
No,
It didn't work. And
because they didn't take
Put the
the
work
time.
in.
Because what they've been doing is they're just like, listen, our number one guy is Batman or Superman. They're interchangeable
And
as far as they're concerned.
They're terrified to do a movie without Batman.
Right.
They were terrified to do a movie without Batman.
But instead of, they could have even just rebooted. Look at how many fucking times Spider-Man has been rebooted. How many times? You have
Right,
Tobey
3.
McGuire. You have
McGuire, that's great.
you have
Adam
or
no,
Andrew
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew
Andrew
Garfield.
Garfield.
And then you have Tom Holland.
Who's the greatest.
Dude,
The
but without
greatest.
a doubt. But look at how long it took them to get Spider-Man, A, right, and B, into the MCU.
Agree to disagree. And the reason why I say agree to disagree was because the first Peter Parker, the first Toby Keith movie was...
Toby Keith?
Was it?
Toby
Maguire.
Toby McCryer.
Toby McCryer. Wasn't that bad. It wasn't.
The first Spider-Man
Was not that
was
bad.
the... hold on.
Not the Doc Ock one. It's the it's the Green
first
Goblin.
one. It's the first one. I would say that is
with
third to last.
With please help me. Who's the Green Goblin? He's so great. What's his name? Peter. I'm the Green Goblin.
Willem
Peter.
Dafoe.
William Dafoe, dude. Wait, time out. Can we talk about how funny that is?
No.
He's
Hold
like,
on.
Peter.
No, because
Peter, I'm here to kill you, Peter.
that
Sounds like
movie,
the bad guy in
that
fucking
movie,
Monsters, Inc.
those 3 movies were the worst Spider-Man movies out of all of them.
Interesting. More than the Andrew Garfield movies.
Worse than Andrew Garfield movies. Because who the fuck decided that Spider-Man's just going to produce web naturally?
You're going for accuracy, and I hate this argument.
No,
I hate
because
this argument. I don't
it's
like going
literally,
down this lane.
it's everything that Peter Parker is not.
You have to understand these movies are different universes. Like, you have to look at them differently.
Are they different universes?
Yeah, absolutely they are.
Okay, so-
because I have this conversation with
so
so many
then-
people because everybody always expects
Emo
me.
Spider-Man. Emo
I
Spider-Man.
mean, that was fucking terrible. I mean,
Okay.
no one would argue that. I mean, that was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Topher Grace
But if you
as,
actually
as
go
the tough
into
guy.
if you actually go into the story behind it, though,
I don't like it. I just didn't like it.
Marvel was forcing. I forget the name of the director for those
Sony.
movies. Oh, you're right. Excuse me. Sony was pressuring the director to put Venom in the movie, and the director was like, "I don't want to put Venom in the movie because
Right.
it's the way that I like to see it." And Sony was like, "Either you put him in the movie, or we're gonna have a problem." He was like, "Okay, you want him in the fucking movie? Fine, he's in the
Right.
fucking movie." And that was his reaction to it,
Yeah.
and that's when he does the whole dance scene and all that stuff. That's a direct shot at Sony, and that's why Sony doesn't like the director
Right.
anymore.
But because it was a shitty idea and he knew it. My thing
Absolutely
is
it
that
was.
the movies overall, Andrew Garfield didn't do a terrible job as Spider-Man.
Right.
I think Jamie Foxx had no
was
business in those
weird, wasn't
movies.
that?
Yeah, it was just weird.
I just thought that was like a weird choice, you know.
Yeah.
And I actually don't even. I actually enjoy Jamie Foxx.
I
just
do.
thought that was a weird.
Like I've never heard of that particular
Electro.
villain.
Electro's like
I'm
one
not-
of his
I'm not
biggest ones.
super
That's
in-
fine.
you know what I mean?
That's
So
fine.
I'm not,
Spider-Man's
like-
my favorite of all superheroes of all time.
Yeah.
So
But like, I didn't see Jamie Foxx as that kind of a
I just
villain.
thought that was weird.
Granted, he's a good actor, and I
Yeah.
can see him playing that type of role.
That's
but
where
I
I
just
disagree.
didn't see it in that particular movie.
See, Electro could have been a
given
cool
another
villain.
chance, I think it's totally different.
I just thought, like, I didn't understand the Jamie Foxx for Electro because Electro's actually a pretty cool villain, but like, I just didn't really understand like where the Jamie Foxx
I don't know.
aspect came
So,
from it.
but like those 3 Tobey Maguire movies were just TP, in my
The,
opinion.
the first one's good, and the second one's good too. The Doc Ock one, you can't tell me the second one was bad.
I'd say the second one was better than the first one.
I actually agree with that. I actually agree.
Okay,
The
so the
second one was
first
the
one
first one.
was probably the second worst, because it was Spider-Man 3.
But you're
with
forgetting
fucking
William
emo-
Dafoe. Peter.
Nope. Spider-Man 3
Peter of the
with
Green
emo
Goblin.
Spider-Man is the worst one.
Okay,
Then
dude.
Spider-Man 1 is shit, and then Doc Octopus. Pick your fucking Andrew Garfield ones, because they're next. And then Tom Holland. Those 2 Tom Holland movies are phenomenal.
Peter.
All right, that's it.
No, it's not it.
That's all for this episode of Can I Finish? We would like to incorporate an advice aspect to this particular podcast at some point. So if you have questions or want advice on something, send us an email at 4guysmedianetwork, the number 4guysmedianetwork at gmail.com, and use the subject, Can I Get Advice? Please make sure to subscribe, rate us on iTunes, click the like and subscribe icons on YouTube on the 4 Guys Media Network page, or check us out on SoundCloud by searching Can I Finish? We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening, tuning in, whatever you're doing, whatever device you're listening on, whatever. Goodbye.
I love you.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. If you have any suggestions or topics for us to cover, email us at 4guysmedianetwork@gmail.com. If you're on the go, you can subscribe to our shows on iTunes. Be sure to check out our Patreon page, 4Guys Media Network, for access to exclusive content like minisodes and more. We have a lot of goals to hit, so we can keep improving and continue providing more content ad-free. So all of your donations are greatly appreciated. Make sure you subscribe to the 4Guys Media Network YouTube channel for all of our other projects by clicking the link on the right. And lastly, if you want to watch another episode, just click the link on the left. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.